I beat him fair and square the first time and off of steroids, and I beat him the second time off of steroids.
Hello, I'm Cavassier the goddamn Newt. What the hell is Jon Jones talking about here? He was off the steroids? Kinda like the juice slipping up and saying, no, that was before I killed my wife. This ain't a good look, Johnny Bones. The clip comes from a live Fox interview directly after beating Daniel Cormier at UFC 214. Let's dive in.
I was talking about finishing Daniel Cormier all week, all training camp. That was our expectations.
Soon as he talks about the goal was to finish DC, his blink rate goes through the roof.
All week, all training camp. That was our expectations.
Mentions all training camp and quick eyebrow furrow, anger, confusion, and possibly frustration.
All training camp. That was our expectations.
Says our expectations. Eyebrows go up. A surprise to him or something he questioned at the time, then back to a furrow and asymmetrical facial twitch. Watch the whole sequence.
I was talking about finishing Daniel Cormier all week, all training camp. That was our expectations.
After Jon mentions it was our expectation to finish DC, he gives this reflexive spree, multiple involuntary gestures expanding and amplifying his feelings about this statement.
That was our expectations.
He stumbles over his words. The emotional jolt from considering the game plan has distracted Jones from the script.
I was telling people in my interviews that
has to look away and close his eyes.
That I expect more out of myself.
Again, the flash of surprise directly into furrowed, angry brows.
I expect more out of myself at this age in my life and at this stage in my career.
He gets the phrase wrong. At this age in my life? This isn't his idea. He was told this repeatedly, perhaps by a counselor, his coaches, or his manager. It's part of the script.
At this age in my life and at this stage in my career.
Now the asymmetrical twitch is on the other side.
I expect more out of myself at this age in my life and at this stage in my career, and I got more out of myself, so it's a blessing.
Jon didn't like being told this and didn't like saying it here. That's why he gives the hard nod and quick grimace and clamps his mouth shut after saying it's a blessing.
How much pressure were you feeling heading into this fight?
Honestly, no pressure at all, man.
We get a slight twitch again and a minor lip snarl. This goes back to Jon's coaches telling him the plan was to finish DC.
I'm 30 years old now, and I feel like I'm stepping into a different level in my career, and it was weird, man.
It was weird? What's weird about it, Jon?
It was an amazing finish, but, Cormier was connecting a little bit.
Oh, yeah, he collected a lot, actually, with my jaw. It's pretty numb.
Jones misspeaks saying he collected when he meant to say he connected. This type of verbal error while speaking isn't unusual. It's interesting that Jon doesn't correct himself or acknowledge that he knows he misspoke. A likely indication Jones is detached from the moment.
Then just to close this chapter with Daniel Cormier, I don't even know why it was such a big thing in the first place. I beat him fair and square the first time and off of steroids, and I beat him the second time off of steroids. So,
It's important to consider that when Jon Jones inexplicably brings up being off steroids twice, he's more than 5 minutes into this live interview and just out of the octagon after winning back the belt, and as he said many times, getting back his life. It's reasonable to assume he's coming down from his brain being drowned in adrenaline and euphoric neural chemicals from the fight and victory. He may feel calm and content, making him less inhibited verbally.
I don't even know why it was such a big thing in the first place. I beat him fair and square the first time.
Jones brings closing out the DC chapter and blandly states he doesn't understand why it was such a big deal. We assume he means to other people.
I beat him fair and square the first time.
He uses the term fair and square, showing preoccupation with the idea that he cheated.
I beat him fair and square the first time and off of steroids, and I beat him the second time off of steroids.
This isn't Jones misspeaking. Linguistically, he constructs a comparative structure. First time I beat DC, off steroids. Second time, off steroids. You don't accidentally build sequential proof like this. There was a time he believes he was on steroids. Otherwise, Jones simply says, I was clean when I fought DC, or I was always clean, so I don't understand the controversy. But watch Jones again as he makes the statement.
I don't even know why it was such a big thing in the first place. You know, I beat him fair and square the first time and off of steroids, and I beat him the second time off of steroids.
Jones is without emotion, looking dissociated, almost like a fugue state. But his whole body moves complementary to his words. Jon believes something about what he's saying here. It seems to dawn on Jon that he's done messed up and said too much.
Off of steroids. So, you know, it's...
But he plays it off reasonably well, just stumbling over his words and dropping the subject.
So, you know, it just symbolizes so much, man. I feel complete, and I feel a sense of closure.
And what do we conclude from this? The most obvious is Jon Jones has used steroids, but we knew that already. His USADA drug test proved there were steroids in his system. This isn't up for debate, people. What Jones tells us in this interview is that he knows he's been on steroids, which is important because being on something is very different than accidentally taking something or trying something or experimenting. Being on a drug expresses intent and expectation in the mind of the user that shows a comfortable association with the drug, like it's been incorporated into his lifestyle. Well, that's how I see it. There's a lot more to this Jon Jones puzzle. Why would one of the best fighters of all time risk losing everything by taking steroids, especially when he must know this could be his last chance at getting his life straightened out? But I do enjoy a good puzzle. I've got a few ideas, but they need a little more work to fill in all the gaps. As long as there's interest, I'll continue exploring the psychology of Jon Jones. I'd like to do a close analysis of his in-cage behavior and interview after the fight at UFC 214. If I'm really ambitious, I'll examine his childhood, most importantly his relationship with his brothers. I'm starting to think this is the key to unlocking Jon Jones, the phenom, the fuck-up, the enigma, and the human being. If you enjoy these episodes, push the damn like button. The next episode is a film study of Kevin Lee, an in-depth look at the Motown phenom's work in the octagon. Who isn't excited for his matchup with Tony Ferguson at UFC 216? Well, the old Couve is on the cusp of some interesting possibilities. Become part of what's happening here and subscribe. Have a question or an idea for a future episode? Let me know here in the comments section or over on the Twitters. And remember, this isn't supposed to be easy.